Animated commercials. A lot of time is put into them, but do they always return on that investment? Here, it's not exactly so obvious. So if you haven't seen this ad, I'll put a link below, but it's made waves for the past month in being described as cringeworthy, pandering, some may even call it outright disrespectful towards how people perceive meme culture. I'm definitely not sitting at the table of people who can speak about meme culture, but I do know people, and this has been such an interesting ad to have floated around this much. So the premise of this is that we are to believe that this person gets so great of a deal that he dances. Already you're kind of losing everyone. Firstly, I'm not dancing. I dance in the way that a thawed chicken hits the floor. Secondly, have you ever ordered something on a delivery app? You get overcharged for things. A simple one-person meal can cost me upwards of 20 to 30 bucks depending on where I go, and that's just getting on the app. There are these vague service and app fees when you add the tip to the driver because actual companies can't afford to pay these people enough as to where a tip would be a bonus and not kind of needed to make ends meet. Then you watch with anxiety as this car who has your location bumbles around. You don't know where the food is. Is it in the passenger seat? Is it in the back seat? What if it's where people place their feet? What if it's in the trunk? I've had food delivered to me where people have opened the trunk. You don't know. You just trust that you'll be alive after you eat it. Then if you're me, you have to flag the person down, because everyone has the same GPS, they can't find anything. And then we get to the main event, figuring out if the food you ordered is the food you received. I've had it all. I've had food straight up not be there. I've had food come in colder than the no reply emails that you get when your YouTube channel is terminated. I've had times where the menus show that I can customize something just for it to come normally as if I never touched that menu. I've had this one time where I ordered something from Burger King, and unlike McDonald's, which has everything in a big bag and it's sealed, it comes with no seal from Burger King, at least where I'm from. And the dude, like a unit, hands me my Oreo shake with the palm of his hand over the cone top that had no straw. So his flaky, dry gremlin skin flakes were now the sprinkles to my smoothie. I've never been so ashamed to waste $5. And you're telling me that I'm going to get $5 off of my Popeye's chicken sandwich that is already being sold to me with a $15 markup? I'm supposed to dance over that? You are actually bugging. You should be called Bug Hub, or maybe the other hub, because you're legally screwing me. Alright, now that I've calmed down, let's talk about the art style. It looks like a watered down version of the Boss Baby characters, with even less of a good style. I do believe that they went into designing these characters by making them stylized, but I know that a big company like that didn't get to throw around money senselessly into this idea for nothing. I also know that a big company like that had a big team. I'm sure there were a lot of drafts, everything that you would expect to go into an industry standard commercial. But even within this short amount of time, I have no idea why I should care about the fact that this dude dances towards deals. There's no personality to any of this. This just seems like the average American family, which you can tell is intentional because if you're Grubhub, you would appeal to the average American family. So while it's accurate to the demo, it loses points for being so blatantly open and transparent about it. Like, who lives in a house like this? This looks less like a house and more like a pseudo-modern artsy 3D demo that someone reskinned for this commercial. Take the goldfish commercials. I love them. Those have a personality because those characters were all different. It wasn't the deepest thing, it was a commercial, but it did its job of advertising the brand, but it also made me curious to see those characters again. Even with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials, it had some humor in it, and it made me want to see more of those cannibalistic adventures. Would you ever care if you didn't see any of these characters again? Most likely not. You would not care. You could have easily did this with live action people and the message would have been exactly the same. It's that type of soullessness that you have to know nothing about memes to actually think this would have worked. The feeling of scrolling through your recommended or going on Twitter and seeing the emergence of a new meme is a feeling that I didn't grow up with. Seeing a good portion of my childhood, early life is both pre-smartphones and also pre-meme culture by that logic. The idea of seeing this one thing getting repeated by so many different people and their own variants, it just shows us the most important thing about memes. You can make one. I can make one. We all can make one. There really isn't an idea of gatekeeping when it comes to most memes. There's definitely criticisms for getting them wrong, as many of them have a set structure, like the Curb Your Enthusiasm's memes, for example, but the idea is that it's something that people can make, not a corporation. It's something that we, the people, make. So when a corporation makes a meme, even though it's through that said corporation, and said corporation is composed of people, it just goes through so many filters that what could have been a fun, unique idea is now a soulless, anti-fun message. Am I saying that no young person who knows about memes or, has memes on their phone works at Grubhub? Of course not. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who know about memes that work at Grubhub. I'm sure a lot of people who know about memes worked on this particular ad. I'm saying that when you are a corporation at large, you're perceived a little differently, unless you're one of the rare few that are not. Combine that with the general feeling towards delivery apps, and you aren't exactly in a position to be one with the people. This isn't to say that there aren't companies that handle the idea of making memes or things related to that well, but more so that it takes a certain reputation among the people for it to be received well. Here, giving them the benefit of the doubt, maybe there was a fun idea in there, but I'm sure it's been beaten down by data analytics and case studies and budgeting. Any control that was left, any creativity, any variation, any culture that was left within this idea is gone. And the actual absence of that created this. However, we can see through things like this, and people have taken it into their own hands to express the idea in the way that someone who actually loves memes and goes through a lot of memes would. And that's why we perceive those videos to be funny, because it's speaking to our type of humor rather than kind of speaking at us, but it's largely disguised as an ad. Simply put, they're actually being funny. They're actually understanding what goes into a funny meme. They're actually speaking to us. I said in the beginning that it's not obvious that this is or isn't a return on investment because the backlash does have people talking about Grubhub, including myself. I was inspired by this video that put it perfectly into words, and through all the memes, that organic reach that comes from the fact that Grubhub did such a terrible job, I'm 99% sure that while they didn't intend for that to be the case, they didn't intend for this to be the response, I'm sure they're still happy with said response, because the truth is, a lot of memes die out, and the Grubhub ad is no different. And to even take it a step further, negative attention still does help certain companies. If negative attention was such a poison that companies would die out, then Comcast, EA, YouTube itself wouldn't have been a thing. The thing that honestly does kill companies is the lack of money, the lack of attention. Negative attention is still attention. While it may not necessarily help in the long term, it definitely would help in the short term. So even though it wouldn't be that funny to post a video about, all of the Grubhub ads in a few months from now because the meme is definitely going to die, you will still remember the name Grubhub. That will still be a name that if you are looking for a food delivery app, you might pick them. Or at least someone who's more casual, who doesn't listen to my content, someone common who may have seen the ad before, might pick Grubhub because they've heard of the name. And if they weren't recommended anything else, why wouldn't they? It seems like a natural option if you only know of one name to then just pick that one name. So while we clown on Grubhub for all of this, the goal was initially to spread the word about their company and the deals that they have, and we all kind of did that. So we kind of made a better ad for them because we all have a inner feeling of wanting to correct people. Ugh, I feel so used. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to flag down this person so I can get my food that I have no idea if it's accurate or warm. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. Alpha out. Alright, let's see if this food is actually warm.